True to form, completely predictable, the hapless, do nothing Republicans released their report today with regard to Joe Biden. The report is accurate. The report is an impeachment inquiry report, and it shows that Joe Biden laundered about $27 million through Hunter Biden and his brother James into the family's coffers from China, Ukraine, and Russia. What they don't get into is something that Freedom Watch is getting into, that the Biden regime was likely behind the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Either they created the condition for it to happen by not allowing for him to have adequate security through the Secret Service, or someone inside an inside job arranged to have him killed, because at that time, Biden was far behind in the polls. It's happened before. This is where we are. And we, of course, have a citizens' grand jury that's being cranked up to look into these alleged crimes. We intend to hold the guilty accountable, whether it's Biden or anybody else, try them, seek their conviction, and sentence them, and put them away where the sun don't shine. And we have the right to do that under a case, United States versus Williams, which said the grand jury belongs to the American people, not three branches of government. That was a majority opinion written by the late Justice Antonin Scalia. But we have another issue here as well. And we have an issue with regard to Iran. And of course, we know that the administration, if you want to call it that, the Biden regime, has been twisting the arm of the Israelis to accept a ceasefire, which of course Hamas doesn't want, because they want unconditional ceasefire to allow them to continue what they're doing in Gaza. But this is another issue which is out there today. And here's the irony, is that the Arab states, including Saudi Arabia, who are essentially the allies of Israel and the United States, not of course the Biden regime, they don't care for the Biden regime at all, they would like to see Hamas gone as well. And they would like to see peace in the Middle East, but not at all costs. And here's another irony. The BBC came up with a report today on the Prince of Saudi Arabia, who is a tremendous ally to the United States. He's very far-thinking. He's someone who's trying to modernize his country. He's someone who has, in fact, ended the practice of religious discrimination. I mean, you even have a rabbi in Saudi Arabia now, not officially sanctioned, but they're allowed to worship and go forward, as well as Christianity and whatever. And the BBC makes these allegations in a report today that somehow he was behind the assassination of Khashoggi and cites the CIA as the source. What a joke. As we set forth in our recent publications that are out there at freedomwatchusa.org, the CIA has covered up the assassination of John F. Kennedy, of Ronald Reagan, the Olympic bombing with Richard Jewell, the anthrax attacks after 9/11. Of course, this individual by the name of Stephen Paddock, the massacre in Las Vegas, who was likely an FBI agent. They went into his house and cleaned it out so there'd be no proof. You can't believe anything the CIA has said. And I would submit that Prince is not responsible for the death of Khashoggi, but the CIA is responsible for the death of John F. Kennedy. That's well accepted at this point in time, notwithstanding their cover-ups. So this is where we find ourselves. We find ourselves with a totally dishonest so-called government, a government run by despots, leftist despots at this point, trying to push Kamala Harris on the people with communist economic plans and everything else. While at the same time, the Republicans play games. They don't want to impeach Biden. They don't want to hold anybody accountable. For God forbid, they would be held accountable for their activities. And this is why you must join Freedom Watch's Justice League, because we are here for the American people. We are your real Justice Department. We're not the Gestapo of the Biden-Harris Justice Department, and we're not even a Trump Justice Department, which looked the other way to all these crimes. President Trump could not even control his attorney general. Two absolute do-nothing, hapless political hacks of the establishment, whether it was Jeff Sessions or Bill Barr. And here's the irony. The left, the DC Bar wants to disbar Bill Barr, pun intended. And the guy was actually on their side. But they don't like any Republican. They don't like any conservative. They don't like anybody that will stand up to the left. Well, Freedom Watch will stand up to the left. The left is pure evil. Let me repeat that. Pure evil. They are the disciples of the devil. And the Republicans certainly have their issues, believe me. We need to rise up. We need new political parties. We need to represent ourselves and not depend on any political messiah. As of today, frankly, the odds are with Kamala Harris becoming the next president of the United States. Now, whoever you wish to vote for, whether it's Trump or Harris, the fact is we need competition. Neither of these individuals is going to lead us to the promised land. They're not going to change the tarnished city into the faithful city. Only the American people can do that. At a time when we have rampant corruption in government, when we have rampant crime in our major cities, when we have terrorists and drug traffickers and human traffickers and sex traffickers running across our border, when we have a government and organizations that support that government that want to destroy ethics and morality in this country, that want to push sex operations on young kids behind the backs of their parents. We have a military that's been demoralized, that's sent into wars that the United States has no intention of winning over and over again, sacrificing our young men and women, while at the same time a Secretary of Defense pushes so-called woke ideology at the expense of building our military up to challenge our foreign adversaries, in particular China and Russia and North Korea. So go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause, join our Justice League, contribute with tax-deductible contributions. We're there for you. As I say over and over again, be part of the solution and not part of the problem. We must rise up to save this country because we're on our knees gasping for air, ready to expire under the corruption of both political parties. One, of course, much worse than the other, the Democrat, which frankly is pure evil. They are the disciples of the devil. God bless you. God bless America. God save America. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast.